Good evening. This is Shayanti Roy here. I'm a corporate trainer and facilitator. I'm into the space of prevention of sexual harassment at workplaces for 6 years now. I'm very passionate about making workplaces safe, particularly for women, although anti-sexual harassment is obviously something which is a concern for a lot of organizations. This is the first segment, and I'm very excited to invite Harshita Singhal with us today. And Harshita is the founder of Neda Shak. And Harshita, tell us, I mean, how is it for you as the co-founder of Neda Shak?
Thank you. Thank you, Shayanti, for having me here. It's amazing, to start a small not-for-profit that looks at making legal rights more accessible and affordable for survivors of gender-based violence. And being a lawyer myself and having been in the field of litigation for the last 4 years and having seen how difficult it is for women to really access their rights and have them exercised in that sense, it's an amazing journey. Thank you.
Right. Yes, I know what you mean exactly by having the access to their rights and understanding it from the legal perspective. And I think a lot of women out there are not aware of their rights, which brings us to this burning topic of prevention of sexual harassment at workplaces. In my experience, Harshita, I like to tell you, I've observed several kinds of personalities when it comes to organizations. Some of them I have noticed are very compliance oriented. When we say compliance, they're typically very, very concerned about ensuring they have a POSH policy in place, okay, understanding what are the intricacies of the policies, implementing them, having a proper IC in place, being very accurate about how to go about reporting, in terms of the annual report or the inquiry report that goes to the employer. They're very concerned about how to put the policy in place, and that's one kind of organization that I have observed, and the other kind I have observed is the combination of being culturally inclined as well as compliance, both. So when I say culturally inclined, it means the core value system is to ensure that organization, women out there in particular, should feel safe and they feel respected and they feel included, and not that they are not gender neutral also, and these organizations also are very much concerned about how the men feel, okay, and whether they are feeling included, and it doesn't come across as an imbalance that we're only talking about safe workplaces for women, whereas men feel they feel they're not safe, or they may be attacked, because these organizations, as much as they believe in compliance, they also believe in building a good culture, and POSH is a welcome move for these organizations, and they want to make sure that the men are aware of the policies. The men are aware, and they know what can be called as sexual harassment, what cannot be called as sexual harassment. So these organizations carry a fine balance of both, and I think that's the very few organizations feel the need of bringing in the culture and compliance together, in my observation, right? And the third kind I've noticed is are those people who are those organizations who are just exploring the concept of POSH, because it's a new concept for a lot of people. I mean, the POSH policy got passed in the year 2013. This is 2024, but there are a lot of organizations do not understand the importance of POSH and why we're talking about sexual harassment at workplaces. Does that really happen? I mean, how true is it, and what kind of implications it may carry? They don't even know that it has certain implications in terms of any kind of loss of license or penalties, and they don't know about it. And they are also concerned that if you bring in such a move, such a policy in place, how would the men feel? Would they feel excluded? Would they feel scared? So these are the kind of things. So Harshita, I like to open this discussion to you right now, and since you have also been doing a little bit of work around POSH, why don't you share a little bit from your side as well?
I think that's a very unique way of looking at organizations. And I would say, just like humans have personality types, organizations also today have distinct personality types. And you've rightly pointed out in that sense that there are three types of organizations slash workplaces. And if I talk about the first one, I think they tend, which is the compliance oriented ones, they tend to look at POSH laws more like a tick box that they need to fulfill because the law mandates you to do so. So, they form an IC for name's sake, they file their annual reports, and they do a bare minimum of one session every year to ensure that their report mentions those things. I think it's important these organizations look up to instead to organizations that are both culturally and compliance inclined. Because POSH is
Correct.
really about creating an environment where employees feel safe and respected. And therefore, the focus must shift on integrating a cultural sensitivity and awareness as alongside the compliance practice. And this is very easy to achieve. You need to do regular training sessions, you need to have open dialogues around POSH laws, and you must encourage feedback from your existing employees on how you think this can work better for all of us. When we look at
Yes.
the second type of organizations, which we are saying are culturally and compliance inclined, I think these organizations are right on track. They
Yes.
understand the importance of compliance and the importance of creating a safe workplace. And for them, it's more about reinforcing positive aspects and ensuring
Yes.
that there is a continuous education and engagement of employees to maintain a fine balance. And the third type of organizations that we've spoken about, which are the organizations or workplaces that are yet exploring POSH. I think these organizations are the largest in number. If we look at the total number of organizations that fall under the bandwidth of sexual harassment at workplace laws in India, it's very important that these organizations are made aware of the legal requirements and the long-term benefits of working towards creating a harassment-free workplace. We
Yes.
must educate them on the consequences of non-compliance. And these
Yes.
consequences are not just reputational, but also legal in the sense, as you
Yes.
were talking, that for a first-time offense of non-compliance of POSH laws, there's a penalty of 50,000 on the workplace. And if you continuously do not comply with the POSH laws, your license for business can also get cancelled. So, there is a need to let these organizations know what positive impact creating a safe workplace can have, not just on their reputation, but also on the overall employee morale. And, it can increase the productivity also of their employees. In a sense, I would say, the approach towards sexual harassment laws today is a combination of legal compliance and cultural change. And organizations really need to move ahead from mere compliance towards creating a truly inclusive and safe workplace for all employees. And
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the cultural angle is very important for organizations to understand that apart from being worried about the penalty or the intricacies of the law, but it is also about how do the employees feel, how do the women feel, how do the men feel. And it's just not about safety, it's just about feeling that, the organization is interested in engaging with employees in a way that, sometimes women do not want to talk about if they're not feeling safe at workplaces in general. But if the organization is open to talk about it, that just makes them feel more welcome. And I think men at the same time feel very responsible because, they may have their, siblings working in other organizations and their brothers or sisters working in other organizations. And, they take back the message to them, this is what we know of POSH. This is untrue. This is true. This is a myth. This is not a myth. So all these things come across in these trainings, and cultural inclination is highly important, like you rightly said. And I'm really, really keeping my fingers crossed that more such organizations come forward and at least understand the importance of implementing POSH. So, having said that, Harshita, I must thank you for coming in today and finding the time and bringing in your insights. And I'm looking forward to more such discussions with
yes,
you. And let's dig deeper into these posh related aspects, more about creating safe workplaces for
yes,
everybody. Right. So thanks for joining, Harshita, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
thank you.